Hi, I'm Ellie Rome. My rhetorical situation is that local grocery stores don't provide grass-fed meats, hormone and nitrate-free deli meats, hormone cage-free eggs, um, organic fruits and vegetables that are truly free of pesticides and chemicals. And then the grocery stores that do, like Whole Foods, often charge more for the healthier alternatives, making it difficult for people who do want to change their diets but just can't afford it, or the healthier foods aren't easily accessible to them. And so um, I also wanted to bring awareness to how the foods that you eat every day can limit your quality of life. And I want to provide an understanding of which foods our bodies thrive on and which foods nature never intended us to eat. And so if you're seeking improvement in energy, mood, focus, sleep, athletic performance, if you have symptoms or chronic illness, or you're focused on body composition, weight loss, and total quality of life, all of these things start with food. And so I want to provide knowledge of what certain foods or food groups do once they enter the body, and how a complete elimination of highly processed, genetically engineered, and hormone-filled foods can awaken a better version of yourself that you never knew existed. And so in order to accomplish this, having support is huge. And I think trying to encourage a community nutritional revamp would be a great way to gain support, to lower costs, and provide more accessibility. Accessibility through a community garden, and cheaper foods through ways of ordering in bulk, like from U.S. Wellness Meats. It's a company that has very high quality meat, grass-fed meat, farm-raised meats of all kinds, and ordering them in bulk and amongst the community and splitting the cost would drastically decrease the price of these alternative choices of meat. And so the rhetorical background for my speech, I found a maxim. It's let food be thy medicine shall be thy food. That's from Hippocrates. And so as it states, is that food should be healing. Food should make you feel better. Food should better your quality of life. But the foods that we're constantly eating, or a lot of us are not in any way, shape, or form medicine or medicinal. And that should change if you want to see improvement in your life. And so motives for rhetorical foreground, the constraints for this topic involve changing current eating habits. That's always difficult. And the lack of time, the cost of healthy food alternatives, developing a community garden, and building camaraderie amongst community members to gain support and to implement ways for the community to do this nutritional revamp will be hard, but is definitely possible. And so motives are encouraging healthy eating habits for your families will promote growth, and you'll be able to, as a parent, you want to be able to see your kids graduate and to be able to play with your grandchildren. And eating healthy is one of the best ways to make this possible. And also, if you're a lifetime bachelor and don't plan to have kids, wouldn't it be nice that if you were 90 years old, you could still keep up with your 30-year-old girlfriend or boyfriend? And so that's another motive. And also, if you're overweight or you struggle with weight loss and just can't seem to keep weight off or find a permanent solution, removing these foods from your diet and eating nutrient-rich, health-promoting foods is a solution. And, when I started the diet, that was not my primary goal. My primary goal was because as I said in my first speech, I really had a lot of health issues, and that was my main focus. But the weight loss was a definite bonus. I lost all of my college weight that I had gained over mostly freshman and sophomore year, and then junior year just maintained it. Senior year fluctuated with crash diets and binge eating episodes. Never maintained weight. Would do well for like a week, and then would get drunk and eat, binge eat over the weekend, and everything was back to square one. And so it was a constant cycle and not a healthy way of living and trying to diet. And so this nutritional reset really, it was an unconscious version of weight loss. I never had to think about overeating. I don't have to think about overeating, and my food addictions no longer make me, eat in the middle of the night like they used to. And so it's a huge difference in your relationship with food. You no longer feel like you need something. Anyways, another motive is playing on pathos and just talking about, do you want your children to grow up with diabetes, or do you want, your child to have growth development issues, or, if you're trying to get pregnant and you find out and you knew that there's so many foods today that contain corn, genetically engineered corn, which has been stripped of almost all of its nutrients compared to non-genetically engineered corn, and that it contains 18 times the safe limit of the EPA of glyphosates, which have been shown to cause birth defects, cancer, and a lot of other problems. And so, knowing this, would you continue to eat these things, especially if you're trying to get pregnant, with increasing the risk of birth defects? And so that's one motive to cut out some of these foods, is learning and becoming aware of the effects that they have in the body, which a lot of people, I was completely unaware of. And kind of on emotion, I guess I know how hard it is to give up some of your favorite foods, especially the ones that you love to indulge in. I was definitely addicted to chocolate. I know how amazing foods can make you feel, but that feeling's not normal, and food shouldn't have that effect to that extent. Sugar and carbs, they release opioids in the brain, and today flavor sensations are unnaturally concentrated to such a high extent that, and also they're simultaneously stripped of their nutrients, and so this food creates food with no breaks. So these super normally stimulating carbohydrate dense, nutrient poor foods rewire our pleasure centers, our pleasure and reward emotional pathways in the brain, which promote hard to resist cravings and automatic consumption, of which stress and inadequate sleep and reinforce. And so they are psychologically addictive, and the only way to break these addictions is by eliminating them from the diet. And for And then for practical judgment, you may think that there's no way you can do this. It's a very strict diet, but I had the same thoughts running across my mind when I first started, and you can definitely do it. And after a couple weeks, it's so much easier. You just have to get through those first 2 weeks, and once you get through it, you'll be able to appreciate the natural flavors found in whole foods and the pleasure and reward experience when eating these delicious whole foods. I guess from these whole foods you'll get that pleasure and reward, but it won't be an addictive feeling. And so after changing the eating habits and eating what nature intended, you'll never be a slave to food again. And so for rhetorical exigence, basically, not only do I want to bring awareness to how eliminating these foods from the diet will change your life, but I know one of the hardest things is the time, energy, and money that's required to cut out the processed, hormone-filled, genetically engineered foods. And in order to overcome these obstacles, I want to come together as a community and order in bulk from companies like U.S. Wellness Meats, how I mentioned, which will provide a less expensive and easier way to eat farm-raised, grass-fed meats and eggs. And I want to inform you about which produce often contain more pesticides and chemicals than others, and that you should buy organic, but if it's expensive, we can try to promote a community garden with these produce, which will give us availability and a cheaper way to get these fruits and vegetables. And along with having the community blog to provide support and an online community recipe book, which will provide delicious ideas and enable an extensive variety to everyone's diet. And then we can encourage weekly potlucks or of healthy community meals, or promote dinner groups, which can be set up to provide an encouraging and supportive eating environment that will help everyone through their first couple weeks on the elimination diet. And so providing easier accessibility, cheaper, healthier alternatives, and community support through a nutritional revamp will not only better the lives of you as an individual, but it will bring the community closer together. And my primary audience is adults living in the same area or community, with understanding that healthy eating is important, and that people who can relate, and also people who can relate or have struggled with overeating, food cravings, difficulty with weight loss, afternoon slumps, and chronic health issues are also part of this primary audience. My secondary audience is other people in the community or family members like children and spouses who hear the major points of the speech through word of mouth. Also part of the secondary audience is people who are referred to the community website, and if this speech or a summary of the major points of this speech and objectives are posted on the homepage, it can help inform people of the benefits of this nutritional reset, and can encourage people to join the community dinners, join the community garden, or be part of the bulk food orders and provide recipes for the recipe book. My target audience is people who can relate or have struggled with the things I said earlier: overeating, food cravings, afternoon slumps, health issues, and are ready to do something about it. And so, or people who have tried diets in the past but have failed due to lack of support or prices and availability of healthy foods. And also people who are unaware of the effects that certain foods have on the body, and after listening and gaining an understanding that they no longer want to eat these foods, and they want to learn more, and they're open-minded of and seeing what improvements they will see after stripping their diet of these processed foods. So that is, I think, all the points. So thank you.